Good morning. Welcome to Unitarian Universalist Church West. Welcome to this day of fur, scales, feathers, and love. I'm Reverend Denise Cawley, one of the ministers here, and I use the pronouns she and hers. Thank you for bringing your pets and the animals in the world that you appreciate to service today. UUCW is experimenting with recording our services a few days ahead of Sunday while we learn new technology, and that enables us to be fully present on Sundays to greet you outdoors and participate in the service and share community. This also allows us to be several places at once in this new multi-platform environment.
Good morning. I'm Dave Cicero, Director of Lifespan Religious Education, and the pronouns I use are he and him. I'd like to take a moment now to thank the team of people who helped create today's worship service. They include Reverend Denise Cawley, Jen Nicolosi, our lead music director who provided our music today, Kelly Bognar, our publications and worship technology coordinator who prepared what you're viewing right now, our chalice lighter, which could be you next time, just contact Kelly to find out how, and Tom Moore, introducing this month's Split the Plate partner. I also want to thank the rest of our staff team, Reverend Suzelle Lynch, who's off today, Vicki Banville, our administrator, our board of trustees, and all those making today's service and outdoor gathering possible. If you're new to UUCW today, please send a message to visitor@uucw.org and we'll be in touch with you. Let us know what you're seeking and who, if anyone, comes along with you to our community. If you haven't heard from us lately, please send another message. We do not want to miss you. Again, that's visitor@uucw.org. Reverend Denise is offering one-to-one animal blessings today at the end of our service here at the church, which is at 13001 West North Avenue in Brookfield, Wisconsin. If you at home cannot make it to the blessing, please consider emailing her a photo or a note at revcawley, that's rev.cawley @uucw.org. And she will send you and your pet a personal blessing.
As we light this chalice, we embrace possibility. The possibility of a better world. The possibility of making new friends in old places. The possibility that we could be wrong about things we were sure were right. Embracing possibility opens doors we never knew existed. Doors in our minds, souls, and hearts. May the light of our chalice inspire us to move through those doors and embrace possibility this day and all days.
All creatures of the earth
And now, I'd just like to point out that our year of religious education, or RE, officially begins today. Thanks to all who have already registered their children and youth to embrace the possibility that lies before us, and always has. Our plans for the year may have evolved over the past month or two, but the future is never set in stone. You and yours will be part of shaping where we go together from here. Today, those who have joined us outside are about to gather to meet some of their classmates for the coming year and begin creating their covenant, a set of promises of how they will be, play, and grow together. Each week, these students will have the opportunity to share their joys and sorrows, actively explore the current theme the congregation is focusing on as a community, and share their own personal insights. These classes will continue to meet outside as long as needed to maximize personal safety. Drop-in visitors are welcome anytime, and we encourage families to register so that they receive the most current program updates as the year progresses. Next week, we'll begin our twice-a-month online RE classes for those unable to attend in person. Those students will have experiences like the in-person classes, only remotely, home or away. This is one of the possibilities the pandemic has helped us realize. To take advantage of this, however, your family needs to be registered a few days ahead of time. The simplest way to do that, whether for online or in-person RE, is to go to uucw.org, navigate to the Children and Youth page, and there you'll find more information about the different classes and a link to register for religious education. We're also excited to get back to adult programming, soul circles, UU Wellspring, and more. To learn about what is available to you, please keep an eye out for the weekly e-news announcements, or go to uucw.org and navigate to the community page. There you'll find information about adult faith formation, young adult ministry, as well as fellowship and service opportunities. So now, we on the church lawn will depart temporarily, while some of you at home sing, and those of you on the lawn hum along. As you go, may joy surround you. As you go, go in peace. Know our love is with you always. As you go, as you go. As you go, may joy surround you. As you go, go in peace. Know our love is with you always. As you go, as you go.
This is a chant called Be Like a Bird. Be like a bird who, halting in her flight, on a limb too slight, feels it give way beneath her, yet sings, sings, knowing she has wings, yet sings, sings, knowing she has wings. Be like a bird who, halting in her flight, on a limb too slight, feels it give way beneath her, yet sings, sings, knowing she has wings, yet sings, sings, knowing she has wings.
The peace of wild things. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things, who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time I rest in the grace of the world and am free.
The subject of animals is as wide as if we said we're having a service about people or space, the cosmos. You might find yourself thinking, she didn't know what she was going to talk about today, did she? So she just said animals. Indeed, I struggled with narrowing this one down. In pandemic, we have taken greater notice of our relationship with animals. First, the shutdown gave us a chance to see the canals of Venice clear and dolphins come back to swim. We saw air quality and ozone levels vastly improve, which impacted the growth and survival of bees, fireflies, insects. We even saw significantly less roadkill, and endangered species benefited by us getting out of the way and staying home. Pandemic puppies and kitties abound as adoptions were prolific. New families have been at home, loving them up by attentive work-from-home caregivers. What we are seeing as pandemic drags on is humans are worrying more. Those of us who are parents of school-age kids are trying to decide what is worse, exposing my child to a disease they are not vaccinated for, and it might kill them, or keeping them home where their rates of depression and loneliness are soaring, or perhaps their learning is sliding back. Caregivers of all kinds wonder Do I expose my people, or do I leave them lonely and losing cognitive abilities? We see elders suffering from loneliness too, as they try to live alone when they are part of a species that was never meant to. Often the only ones giving us constant companion are the pets. The pandemic pets taught us we too are part of a system. We are not meant to be alone, nor are we meant to only take. Only to be with our species. We are meant to be an interdependent system. Just like our Unitarian Universalist principles ask us to honor. Last week, I did a blessing for humans as part of our water ceremony. As I spoke to you about your spiritual practices, most of you didn't have one or maybe weren't familiar with the concept. I chatted with you about my pathetic spiritual practice that I'm a little bit known for, and how to learn it, how to get one, especially because so many of us are dealing with physical and emotional pain. We are struggling with issues of forgiveness for ourselves and others. You have been hit with worry about harm that you may have caused. Now more than ever, you need spiritual practice. And this week, as I reflect on the animals and their teachings, I am struck by how the best spiritual practices ask us to go into our animal selves. They ask us to shut off the worries, turn on our instincts, and tune into what our animal selves need. Spiritual practice makes time where time is scarce. Spiritual practice teaches self-care. Animals never say, I'm going to be stretching, but only once a week. No, they stretch daily and throughout the day. They don't take a nap just on weekends. They nap when they need to. They don't wait to exercise until they are at the gym or the dog park. They run anywhere, even if it's around the dining room table filled with their doggy zoomies that need to be released. They are always ready for love and petting and cuddles and pleasure, things we humans put off, schedule for later, or even dismiss and deny. Why? We have all sorts of excuses. I know I do. I don't have time. I need to work. I am going to override that need, even though I will pretend the need doesn't exist. I have noticed that there are a lot of things my dogs do because they need to do them, and it is very rare that they do the exact same thing for hours and hours on end, unless something in their system is out of order. For example, they only scratch for hours if there is an illness or an allergy causing said itch. Otherwise, they itch, and then they go back to watching people on the sidewalk. They nap often, but never for hours and hours and hours. They might get up and attend to a knock on the door. They don't miss meals. If I forget to feed them, their laser eyes stare me down until I get up and fill that bowl. If there is a squirrel to chase, squirrel time is now. They are very open to opportunities. They never say, well, I know that well-known author is coming this Friday, but I might not feel like it. I will wait and see them the next time. As someone who's organized many events, I like to point out there probably isn't a next time, and I think our animals know it. Animals in the wild hunt when they see food. They live in the now. Oh, that thing I like is happening now, they notice. I will go do it now. They don't debate it. I wonder if a lion in the wild looks at the wild boar heading over the hill and says, meh. I don't feel like running right now. Now you might say, but they are animals. They don't have the important problems of us humans. Let's examine where that thinking comes from. The idea that humans' problems are bigger and more important than animals. Those of us who live in this part of the country in southeast Wisconsin are on Potawatomi land. Much wisdom has been lost by evicting those people who cared for this land far longer than we have. I wonder what they would say about the significance of animals and wisdom. Robin Wall Kimmerer, a Potawatomi native herself, says that Potawatomi stories remember that all plants and animals, including humans, used to speak the same language. We could share with one another what our lives were like, but that gift is gone. We are poorer for it. She goes on to say, just because we don't think of them as humans doesn't mean they are not beings. It is even more disrespectful to assume that we're the only species that counts as persons. The arrogance of English is that the only way to be animate, to be worthy of respect and moral concern, is to be human. If you recall the sermon I gave on religious naturalism this summer, humans are not at the top. They are part of that system, that interdependent web. We see the Potawatomi knew that, and they were led by the instinct and creatures of wisdom. As much as our human brain gives us choice and free will, it also works really hard to override what has been programmed in us by thousands of years of survival. I imagine frequently, when I'm thinking of my animals, how silly we are, myself included, when I want to skip exercise, wait to stretch, resist going to the bathroom to relieve myself, even thinking that there's something more important than that, like continuing writing my sermon or meeting to care for someone else's needs. Why? Why am I doing this? Why are we all denying what is good for us? It's helpful and it feels better to honor that part of our animal beings. I have noticed that not only do animals honor what they are not dependent on others to wait for that care to come to them. Now, they often care for one another, but they don't deny an itch because there's no one to scratch it. They just use what's around them. They're very resourceful. Be it a tree or a doorway, they don't deny being rubbed or cuddled. They find another species to cuddle with if their kind isn't around. They really embrace what they have. There's a frugality to them. They honor what they need. So as pandemic wears on, I ask you to embrace more of your animal self. Note your cycles, whatever they may be. Pay attention to your needs. What do you really want? Do you even know? Spiritual practice lets you get in touch with your animal self, your instincts, your deepest thoughts, your most blessed desires and cares. What does your body need? Did it get enough water? Does it need some rubbing? Should you stop and stretch? Our animal friends seem to be masters of what I call pathetic spiritual practice. Pathetic. They keep doing things repeatedly for short periods of time, many times an hour or a week. They fully embrace that the thing they are doing is important to fully do. If they need to roll around, well, they don't just sort of half-heartedly roll. My goodness, they kick up dust. They roll all over. They get into it. They have what we call passion. Be passionate about your acts of daily living. Today we bless the animals both in person and those of you at home. We will honor them and love them up. We will thank the ones we know and the ones that are a part of our ecosystem that even appreciate all that is around them, and we can appreciate them, even if we don't have close relationships with a particular animal. As we bless them, let's bless their full nature. And in that, let's observe the things they teach us, and then do those things that make sense for us to do. Don't we all need to hold the animal wisdom within us? Ours is a world alive and allowed with the presence of creatures and critters. Animals abound, interwoven in our human lives, and wholly independent of us. This is the interdependent web of all existence which we are a part. Some of us have known animals who have saved our very lives. Sometimes this is a metaphor. Sometimes it's a literal fact. Right, buddy? For some of us, we are better human animals because we have known animals as part of our life story. And so today, we bless the animals, those known to us and by us and all other animals. We give thanks today for animal companionship, sit, in our lives and on this earth. And I'd also like to give thanks to my colleagues, Reverend Tom Rhodes, Christine Robinson, and Karen Johnston, who first wrote this blessing, and I've adapted it for pandemic. As we move through the blessings of animals, for those of you at home, I hope you bring your animals close to the screen and perhaps hold up a photograph of an animal dear to you. For those who are here, we will do this part of the service live, and then, well, we'll do it right now, and then after the service, I will give individual animal blessings. So in our ceremony, there's a repeating line that I hope you'll say out loud with me, and it goes like this. We bless the animals. We give thanks for animal companionship in our lives and on this earth. So try that with me now. We bless the animals and give thanks for animal companionship in our lives and on this earth. Now we begin the ceremony. So some animals are our dearest companions: dogs and cats, hamsters and guinea pigs, parakeets and cockatiels, pet rats and hedgehogs, horses and alpacas and turtles, lizards and aquarium fish, butterflies we raise and release, and many more. These are animals who are with us now, and animals who we have known and loved in the past, who will always be present in our memories. We are grateful for animals who endure our shortcomings with calm acceptance. Animals who revealed to us something of our humanity. Animals who taught us how to love and be loved. We bless these animals and give thanks for animal companionship in our lives and on this earth. But animals are not only cute and cuddly companions of solace and delight. Animals are deeply beautiful and wild, living lives separate from our human lives. And animals have the capacity to defend and kill, even the ones we have pronounced tamed. May we respect the wild animals of the known and unknown. We bless these animals and give thanks for animal companionship in our lives and on this earth. Sit, good boy. We must also admit to the painful reality that some animals suffer needlessly at our hands. There are animals who encounter animal cruelty. They are left hungry or maltreated, overbred, used for mean-spirited profit. Animals whose habitat has been stolen and built upon without regard for our shared existence and that web of connection. May we work to be able to give thanks for animals without hypocrisy or heartless dominance. We bless these animals and give thanks for animal companionship in our lives. There are also animals in our daily lives whose labor makes our own life easier, safer, and more accessible. Animals who work with us and for us, who lend us their hair and feathers or fleece or milk or eggs, that we might be sustained without their loss of life. There are animals who we raise or hunt, whose lives are sacrificed, that we may eat or cover our bodies. May we work always to have such sacrifice be compassionate and respectful. For those we know, this is now mostly not so. May we move ever closer to the ideal of living more lightly on this earth, taking only what we must and no more. We bless these animals and give thanks for animal companionship in our lives and on this earth. We bless animals we know and love, and those who have benefited our lives. We bless the ones that can protect us from harm. We bless the ones who have harmed us, affirming with humility and place in the interdependent web of life we are all part. You want another cookie? Come here. Yeah, come here, Henry. May the animals close to us remind us to live out and make real our best intentions as part of the family of all animals. I want to include a special blessing today for the animals that helped bring us the vaccine. In this pandemic, due to the urgent need for a vaccine, Pfizer and Moderna were able to give approval to simultaneously test the vaccine on animals and on humans while they were conducting phase 1 of the trials. The vaccines were tested on hamsters and mice and macaques. They were givers to us so that we could have the vaccine so quickly. Let us now all send thoughts of gratitude for animals that were used to protect us from COVID. We bless these creatures and give thanks for their companionship, their sacrifice, and so much more. Animals benefit us and the environment every day. We give thanks for these animals, for animal companionship in our lives and on this earth. Amen. May it be so. Shalom. Ashe. Blessed be.
Good job, babies. You were so good. You got to eat lots of special treats, huh? Did you eat lots of special treats? It was so fun.
Our Split the Plate partner for September is Micah, a faith-based organization to which UUCW belongs. My name is Tom Moore, and I've been asked to talk about my experiences working with the ROC Task Force, the Restore Our Communities Task Force that is part of Micah. If you heard Lisa Jones speak last week, you may recall that Micah is organized around several of these task forces, with ROC being the one that focuses on prison reform. I became involved with the ROC campaigns several years ago, and I've worked with them on the effort to close or repurpose the Milwaukee Secure Detention Facility and the current effort to secure funding for a full-scale mental health treatment court here in Milwaukee County. I could speak at length about the various efforts that the ROC campaign is involved in. But I think it's more to the point to talk about why I think it's very important for us to support these efforts. The state of Wisconsin is not the worst when it comes to incarcerating its citizens, but it ranks above the national average in a country that imprisons more of its citizens than any other. Here in Wisconsin, we imprison people at twice the rate as Minnesota. And we currently spend more on the Department of Corrections than we do on the entire state university system. We're not going to change the policies that have given rise to these outcomes simply by talking about cost effectiveness or even about the ineffectiveness of prisons at reducing crime. Fundamental change is going to occur only when people come to realize that these policies are morally wrong. They impose unnecessary and therefore unjust punishment. They needlessly ruin lives, and they perpetuate racial inequality. No organization has been more effective than Micah and the other wisdom chapters at making this moral argument. If you're interested in learning more about the ROC campaign and becoming involved, I'll be happy to speak with you after the service. But by all means, please contribute as generously as you can to Micah through your Split the Plate offerings.
Whether the animal is, quote, ours, or whether it was one that blesses our earth, love of animals is a universal impulse, a common ground on which all of us may meet. By loving and understanding animals, perhaps we humans shall come to understand each other. Louis Calnoti. All animals are reliable, many full of love, true in their affections, predictable in their actions, grateful and loyal. It's awfully difficult standards for us people to live up to. Alfred Montefort. All animals have eyes to speak a great language, says Martin Buber. And Tricia McKay says, animals are the bridge between us and the beauty of all that is natural. They show us what's missing in our lives and how to love ourselves more completely and unconditionally. They connect us back to who we are and to the purpose of why we are here. Blessings, my friends.